Alright, so I picked this up the other day. This is a 1943 DOU K98, and it's a Russian capture, if you couldn't tell by the stock already. But we'll go through this one real fast. And I've had K98s before, and this one kind of jumped out at me in a trade, so I grabbed this, and I also grabbed another M44 with the trade. And it was a decent deal, and I like the K98s. They're getting harder to come by, so I figured I'd grab this one just to have. And I mean, the first thing, if you couldn't tell, it was a Russian capture stock. It still has some of the red shellac on it. It's not awful. It's definitely darker than it should be, and also the biggest thing is they're going to be E-penned. So it's force matched here, and then the back here, and then on the back of the safety it's matched. But also this would be in the white. So the bottom of this is force match, which is nice because they didn't do it, in a. I've seen some that are up here and on the side, and that just kind of pisses me off. And also on the bottom, it's barely done here on the mag plate. And I've also seen them on the trigger guards, but this one's not, thankfully. And also the bolt breakdown would be in the white also. It's starting to chip off. Basically, the Russians, they just black these things out. And I remember sometimes the bayonet lug will be also not finished, and rings once in a while. But this one, I was lucky enough that the eagles and the swastikas and all the markings are still there, and the Waffen marks, and they haven't been peened out or defaced. And you do have you have these X's here for Russian captures, but they're actually two Mosins, two cross rifles. But yeah, you can't really make them out. They just look like X's to everyone. But yeah, DOU 1943, and also the Russians would just paint these, or they would blue them. The Germans would paint them a lot. But this one has a decent finish on it. Very smooth and really great shape, especially for the RCs. They basically either battlefield picked these up, or when the Germans surrendered, they surrendered all their arms also. So the Russians took whatever they had. And then after the war, they went through all of them and rebuilt rifles, just a stockpile basically. And also, if they needed weapons, or if they wanted to give weapons to a different country to help support them, it really wouldn't. They'd have a deniability. They would be like, oh, they're not Mosins, they're German, German weapons. So the Germans must have used them, or supplied them to them. But this is also an earlier stock. This doesn't have the cut butt plate on it. That would have been in the white also, but it's blued. And also if you see these on the stock, the Russians, they always match the stocks. So easy to tell. And these things, most of them are laminate stocks. This one's laminate. They have usually two main types. One will be you'll see the white glue, or they'll have the red glue. You can know that those are the original types, red or white. And then I think they also make a birch or a walnut stock. But I mean, with all the shellac on this, I can't tell much. But it looks like a red glued stock, but who knows? And who knows how many times this thing's been refinished. But has been a really nice, surprising rifle. Really good shape. No rust. The finish is really nice on it. It does have import stamps. They're very well hidden. There's a small one here, 8mm Germany. And then there's another small one on the other side. And I mean, sometimes you'll get them here, you know, really, really big, ugly markings. This one was acceptable to me. And I have not shot it yet, but I'm sure it'll run fine. It does have the original barrel and receiver match. Nothing else matches at all. And you're not going to really expect that, because when the Russians were rebuilding these, they just basically threw all the parts into a bin and grabbed new parts out and rebuilt the rifles. So you're definitely not going to get anything matching. I've definitely never seen one or heard about one. Also, another nice thing is the slings. This is a Hungarian sling, so it's not really worth anything, but it's nice and usable, and it's not rotted out. But if you're going to get an original sling for these things, they're in the hundreds. I've seen one at $1,000. But they are climbing in price. The Russian captures, they used to be, God, they'd be like $200-300 about 10 years ago, and now they're going. I see guys trying to get. I mean, they're getting them. They're getting $600 at least for these things. And I see some people, they want, you know, $2-3 grand for them, and they're, you know, they might get them if someone doesn't know what they're looking for. I've also seen the SS rifles with the death heads. There's one on Gunbroker right now for $3,700, and it's a Russian capture, but he doesn't tell you that in the description, so I gotta watch out for that. They'll have there was another one for, I think, $1,200. They'll have the death heads. They usually have one marked here, and they'll have one marked up here, and a lot of times they're X'd out or defaced also. And Romania did that quite a bit. But just a couple things to look for. I'll go more in depth with this thing when I start shooting it and have some more input on it, but just wanted to share that one real fast. And also with the Russian captures, a lot of them aren't going to have the hoods. I don't know why. I mean, they're not the hardest thing to lose. Obviously, it's loose. You know, that's as tight as I can get it. So they pop off and they just get lost. But yeah, just some things to look for, and keep in mind when you're looking at these K98s, because a lot of people are, I'm sure, getting confused or just buying them and not knowing the whole story behind them. But I'll give you an update soon. Thanks.